Hello and welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor Russ Stevens, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's JP's first son, Tim Howie. Well, we have another great show for you tonight. So, boys, let's get it started. We have to start with the train wreck that is the New England Patriots. Hey, fellas, did you have fun rooting against the team that you grew up in your whole life watching and living and dying for, and rooting for, of all teams, the New York Giants, who took 2 Super Bowls away from us for no reason? Russ, we start with you. How weird did you appreciate that all of this when you were watching and rooting for whatever Tommy guy to beat the Patriots?
I loved every minute of it. It was fantastic. It was just so different and so comforting to know that they were going to foul it up in the end, which they did.
Yeah.
I didn't know how. I mean, I didn't expect Ryland to miss a chip shot, but I was giddy on Sunday.
Timmy called it. Timmy, you called it. You said he's going to miss this, and he missed it. Ryland misses 38-yard, which in this day and age is literally a chip shot.
The point after.
Yeah.
The fix is in, boys. The fix is in.
So you don't think Bill? Wait, but who's fixing?
I know
the players play.
You could never get caught telling. That would come out in some book in 2 years. You know, the Belichick told me to miss it. You could never do that.
Okay, so Lawrence Guy said, or maybe it was Wise. He's saying we are playing for the back name on our jersey, not the front anymore.
Do you really?
Yeah, wow. He said that. Which again, you know, they're out of. I think it was Wise. They're out of the playoff hunt, Joe. But it's weird to hear a player and a veteran player verbalize that, isn't it?
Oh yeah, but I mean, it's no secret that 99% of the league plays that way. I mean, they all say all for one, one for all, but they're professionals. They're playing for, that's their career. They're playing for themselves and for their salaries and their families.
But here's
I think he said the truth. He could have said something else. That's the truth.
But are you guys a little torn? And I mentioned this before in text that, I mean, we're rooting for the team to lose, but yeah, we're also in some ways rooting for the development of young players, for which they do have a number of young players on the team, because expecting their growth.
You can have both of those things, Scotty. You can have those young players play well, and for the team to lose. I don't care if Chad Ryland plays well. I think go get another kicker. But the best case scenario is young, promising players with an upside play well, and a crappy quarterback screws something up, or a field goal kicker misses a chip shot.
Right.
Yeah, well, Demario Douglas entered the concussion protocol today, so he won't be around. So that's one good young player that won't be playing. And I guess Zappy's taking all the snaps at practice, except a few for Malik Cunningham. Mac is where he's supposed to be. He's the scout quarterback now in practice.
You know, what would it hurt?
Have we seen the last of Mac?
Yeah, I believe so. He's been given every opportunity. You know, what would it hurt to throw Malik Cunningham in there for a quarter and see what happens?
I think if Zappy doesn't work out at all, you will see him. You may as well use him down the stretch. Get in, you know, a whole bunch of new plays. The next guy might be a mobile quarterback that you bring in.
In the preseason, you know, everyone will say he was doing them against fifth stringers, right? But I remember those preseason games. It was like nothing happening. He came in, all of a sudden there was a little pizzazz, a little something was going on there. You know?
Well, unquestionably, there's no question. Just because his legs and it was poor inclement weather that had Malik Cunningham played that game, they would have beat the Jets. I mean, Giants, excuse me. They would beat the Giants.
He would have generated 14 points somehow.
Yeah, there's no question.
He would have lost. They would have had series where they lost yardage, but then again, they would also had series where they had scoring plays.
Yeah,
like
there would have been at least 2 or 3 plays where he would have ripped off 25 yards coming out of the backfield. You know.
Yeah, and they had a good, strong running game against the Giants. Is the fix in with Bill, Russ? I mean, is he part of
No,
it?
it just doesn't make any sense. Like the only way the fix would be in, and I really believe and don't believe in, and I hope that's not the case, is the only way like tanking makes sense if he knows he's going to be the GM and coach next year and therefore wants to get a high pick. But
Yeah.
every other thing, every other force moves towards Belichick wanting to win because that gets him closer to Shula and ultimately wants to break Shula's record.
Well, he has won something because Bob Kraft has finally gotten off the Mac Jones bandwagon in allowing him not to start him.
Yeah, but
I
when he
mean,
punted
that's been fait accompli that Robert said it's his guy and he's going to start each time. And this will be the first time in 4 years that Mac hasn't started.
Joe, do you actually think the phone call was coming down to Belichick from?
Oh
Kraft
yeah,
saying,
I think the owner's
Really?
the boss. He's number one. You might think the head coach is the top, but when the owner says this goes, this goes.
Joe, I was leery. I apologize, Joseph. I was leery of that storyline that you've been talking about for literally 3 years. But there's been a lot of whispers, in fact, strong whispers, that is the case. And
Yeah, of course it was.
They're asking Bill that, and he won't answer. And they asked him, Bill, this week, who made the decision to draft Mac Jones, you or Bob Kraft? And he won't answer directly.
Yeah, because it was Bob, and he can't throw his owner under the bus.
So
that's why.
Look, I think that if he was trying to fix the game, Mac Jones, he couldn't have done any better than his performance on Sunday.
Exactly. He's a non-performer is what he is. He just doesn't do anything.
When he just lobbed the ball 10 yards to the linebacker, like he was literally throwing to the linebacker like they were playing catch. I don't know if I've ever seen that in an NFL quarterback. Have you guys?
Well, he was under duress, but it was a stupid throw. You don't throw it when you're in that situation.
The last days of Tony Eason, we were getting this kind of quarterbacking because he was so shell-shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And then Tony Eason, I don't believe Eason ever played for another team, did he?
No.
I don't think he did.
No. Yeah. So again, I'll go back to Timmy with Mac Jones. All right, Mac Jones is done this year. What do the Patriots do with him? They're not going to just drop him. He's got some value. Do they trade him or do they look to him for a new season as the backup quarterback?
Oh, I would definitely try to trade him. He needs to be gone from this franchise.
I think they're going to just get rid of him for nothing.
7th round pick.
Joe,
I don't think it'd even get that though, Tim. Because they know they're going to dump him anyways, and so no one's going to give him anything.
I think because the guy's going to make what? He's $2.5 million next year or something.
No, he's like $5 million being a first.
Okay, but that's pretty even for a backup
for a quarterback. That's chump change.
Or for a guy that they could, who's played in the NFL, who's been a starter to bring to training camp and a lot. Remember, the Ice franchise have nothing for quarterbacks. I think somebody gives him probably a 5th round pick.
Well, he's had a lot of number one type guys coaching him in Belichick and O'Brien and Patricia, guys that have, Josh McDaniels, guys that all have head coaching experience in this league that have been coaching. So he has a good background of NFL knowledge.
We've seen guys completely fail in their first couple of years and come back and make an impact for teams before. I wouldn't really completely rule it out that Mac gets a shot again in 3 years or something. Someone gets hurt, he has to come in and doesn't do bad.
Someone's going to take a shot at rehabilitating him. He's young enough.
They'll bring him to training camp.
They'll bring him to training camp. They'll give him a backup job. They'll try to get his confidence back. Hopefully it'll be a team for Mac's, own good that has good weapons and a decent offensive line. So if you're a decent team, you bring him in as a 2nd or 3rd quarterback and see if you can rehab him and deal him for a 2nd or 3rd round pick down the road.
All right, Russ, what going into the season did you see that you thought that Mac Jones would succeed in O'Brien's system, and how do you see that? Why do you see that went so bad?
He succeeded in his first year under Josh. So I thought, well, why wouldn't he succeed in his third year under Bill O'Brien? I mean, O'Brien and Josh I've always thought of them as sort of roughly equal offensive coordinator types. Mm-hmm. So I was just like, oh, he'll get back to that. And as it turns out, he's jittery and probably a little soft. And he's got some sort of shock back there where he sees a rush coming and he turtles and he just tosses the ball into the air. I mean,
and he just doesn't have an NFL arm. He's still got,
and he doesn't have he's not enough of an athlete. It's a good point, Joe. He's not enough of an athlete with his legs or his arm to make something happen when a play starts to break down.
You know what got me? I think there was a stat last year where he was dead last. Was it under pressure, under duress?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With his throws. That, if I'm like a coach, that troubles me probably more than any other stat you can see, you know.
And then he's floating 10-yard out sideline. He's floating them. I've never even seen that in an NFL quarterback ever. He's just lobbing it up in the air. You know, there were things that it was psychologically also that I think he's shot completely.
You know what's kind of crazy? Alabama is probably the premium program college-wise in the country. Georgia might give them an argument these days. They get the cream of the crop of these high school kids, you know, and he probably had 5 guys he had to beat out in Alabama who are all studs. You know, you don't even see kids from Massachusetts getting offered to go there. So
although Timmy, I would also say he had the best receivers.
I know,
in
but
the world.
He had the 3
all right,
best that have ever come out of Alabama.
But sitting behind him on the bench at Alabama were probably 3 kids who were the best quarterbacks in the state that they came from.
Yeah, but look at these guys that have come out. The only one who's made it is Hurts, Mac, Bryce Young. You know, all these guys, AJ McCarron. They all suck as pros. They're all college quarterbacks.
My high school quarterback, Neil Kelleher, we won the Super Bowl. He had a gun for an arm. You know what I mean? You don't get there without having a gun. You know what I mean? Yeah. You don't make all state or all this or that unless you're running, you know, just have absolute wheels and you know, you're scoring all the touchdowns with your legs. I would expect just for Alabama to look at you, they got to make sure you can really throw the ball, right? I mean, that's Alabama. They're getting the creme de la creme.
Yeah, college is a whole different game, though.
Hang on, though. I don't think anyone's ever said Mac has a noodle arm. He has a average, below average NFL arm. But Tim, in Alabama, the guy was sitting behind the best offensive line in the nation year after year, and had the fastest, best receivers. So all he had to do was get the ball to somebody on time and accurately. He didn't have to throw 17-yard out.
General area, and they would get it.
Exactly.
So
all you have to do is not make a mistake. LSU plays a similar game in the SEC too.
So did Bill Belichick see that, but Bob Kraft didn't?
Bob knew all the fans were clamoring for a quarterback, and Bob listens to the fans. They're the ones that have made him a billionaire, and he listens to them. And so he said, "Get a quarterback. I don't care if he's stiff." But
listen, as I recall, all 4 of us were tickled pink.
I thought it was fantastic. Totally, Timmy.
First season too, he played well.
Absolutely.
I don't think he played well. He played okay. He
played well for a rookie.
He played not to lose, and
he played well for a rookie, Joe.
Well, he played similar to how Brady played his first couple of years.
He won 10 games as a rookie.
Dink and dunk. Yeah, dink and dunk, screen passes, little crossing patterns, and dink and dunk, you know, maybe throw a 3 or 4 25-yard passes in a game, but that's how Brady was, for the first 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
Look, this guy.
But you can't do that in the NFL now. You got to throw the ball downfield at least, you know, a dozen times a game. You got to get it downfield. You can't dink and dunk anymore.
Look, this guy, I'm not. He made the Pro Bowl. I know a lot of the quarterbacks don't want to show up and stuff, but ultimately he was at the Pro Bowl game, which means, they perceived him around the league as a top 10 quarterback.
He that year, they said after his first year, everybody was saying if you could have had to do it again, Mac Jones should have been the first pick.
Yes. They said, yeah, San Francisco was pissed off that they had took Trey Lance instead of Mac Jones.
The Jets were pissed about their guy. Everyone was pissed.
The fact is Trey Lance is a complete disaster.
Jacksonville.
Trey Lance is going to have a worse career than Mac Jones. Is Trey Lance
probably is.
Well, at least Trey Lance has got a backup job now.
Look, that draft turned out to be a complete disaster if you think about how that went down. I mean,
number one was the only
disaster.
No,
number
Parsons
one was the only one.
No, Parsons.
No, I'm talking about the quarterbacks, Scotty. Just the quarterbacks.
Right. That's why the whole end all that we're going to get a quarterback and this is going to be turned around is ridiculous.
No, it's not a slam dunk. I hear a lot of bad things about that Caleb Williams. He is a prick. You know, when you see the things he says and what he does, he looks like an asshole.
Well, it may be a good decision. Maybe if the Patriots get the third pick in the draft, maybe and May and Williams go. Maybe
Harrison?
they take this kid Daniels from LSU.
Oh, Harrison.
I don't think he'll take him that high. I think they would take
Harrison
Harrison and then try to trade up for Daniels, Scotty.
They do say Harrison is like a generational receiver prospect.
He's got everything, man. He's got
but
everything.
You know how that works in the NFL with these wide receivers. If all of a sudden they're not getting enough touches, they don't have a good enough quarterback, the Diggs of the world, 2-3 years they won out.
I don't know. He probably has a better frame of reference having his father, who was a Hall of Famer, be, coaching him as to how you act as a professional. And so,
this guy
you never saw that Marvin Harrison, and he was a crazy guy. Remember, he killed that guy, and they got away with it because he was in Indianapolis.
Scotty, have you seen this kid Harrison? I mean, he's the package. He is the package.
No, absolutely.
On all the plays when Ohio State was trying to get back in that game, he's triple covered and he was getting open every time.
So say we have the third pick in the draft, we take Harrison. Who do you want? I mean, you want I know Russ.
You trade up. You take the
Teddy Bridgewater types.
No, you've got a very valuable second round pick because it's going to be in the top of the second round.
Yep.
And you take that pick and whatever else you need to move up to get the quarterback that you want. I don't think you take Daniels as the third pick. That's way overdrafting a guy.
Yeah.
Way overdrafting. I don't want to take.
You'd be better off, getting Kirk Cousins as a free agent.
No, but you can get a quarterback we're talking about it's a bit of a crapshoot anyways. There's 6 guys, right? So just take one of the 6. Take 2 of the 6.
Right.
Take your third, and see what you got.
I'd be clicking my heels if Kirk Cousins showed up here for opening day.
Well, look, Bryce Young.
Well,
you've
got the money.
Bryce Young could be a bust. And not only
could be
did Carolina
totally
get up and give up everything, they drafted him number 1.
Totally. Do you think who would you rather have, Brock Purdy or Bryce Young right now as a NFL quarterback?
Purdy, for sure.
Yeah. Right.
So Bryce Young's 5'10". 5'10".
You have to get. This is why I'm just desperate for them to get a new regime and new scouts. You've got to get scouts in there who can evaluate talent. You got to just pick what you think is the best one of these quarterbacks.
They got to start stealing scouts from the other teams. All the scouts have been raped out of them. They're all around the league.
Every leaf in college football looking for that guy.
Yep.
Well, the Patriots have had such good luck drafting wide receivers.
Oh my God!
30 years.
Everybody had such good luck drafting every position lately. I mean,
somehow
Gonzalez was a good pick.
Harrison will get run over by a cement truck. I don't know, something. But yes, Harrison could make us forget a lot of the bad wide receivers we drafted because he definitely is a stud. But if you remember, the Patriots, when they had the number 1 pick, I think the last number 1 pick they had, Irving Fryer, right? No, Drew Bledsoe. They had Drew Bledsoe. But then before that was Irving Fryer, and he was a bust here.
Yeah.
Yep. And then ended up having a pretty good career after he left the Patriots, of course.
Right.
All right, boys. All right, we got to go predictions. I I have a very bad feeling that the Patriots are going to win, only because we have the Chargers number. Like the Giants have our number. Somehow the systems don't work, and Herbert's always played poorly against the Patriots. But 16-13, Chargers win, and Chad Ryland, Nyland, whatever his freaking name, misses another field goal and doesn't even get off the field before Bill Belichick comes and takes his uniform and pads off at the 30-yard line. All right, we'll go with Timmy.
I think we get destroyed. I think the morale of this team is just decimated. 28-10, and the defense scores our touchdown.
28-10 Chargers.
Chargers.
All right, Russell.
I'm kind of with Timmy. I think they're going to get bombed. 31-9.
Wait. What was the final score of the game last week?
10-7.
10-7.
I'm just going to go over the scores here. Joe had 13-10.
Mm-hmm.
I had 13-10. Scott, you had 20-9. And Ross, you were 21-10.
All right. So you guys have had it. You and
You
Joe.
guys were right around that thing.
Yeah.
All right, Joseph.
Oh,
All right.
let's see.
Let me write
I
these down.
kind
Let
of
me write
like
these down.
a combination. 24-9, 3 field goals out of 5 attempts.
You get that?
Joe, what was that?
24-9, San Diego. LA.
Oh, so our guy hits 3 field goals, huh?
Yeah, but out of 5, he misses 2. You know how they get well, maybe Mac's in there. When he's in there, they just never score a touchdown.
I think he
always
may
a
get
field
cut
goal.
at halftime and then just have Lawrence Guy handle all the kicking the rest of the game. I mean, do you remember? Do you have all the scores, Timmy?
No, what's Russ's prediction?
It was 31-9.
31-9. Patriots?
No.
Oh, no way.
Scotty, what was yours?
What did I say? 16-13?
Yep.
Yeah, 16-13 Chargers.
16-13. Chargers win. Okay. Locked, sealed.
Have you ever seen Bill? First of all, just 2 things before we leave the Patriots. He criticized a player like he did that field goal kicker. The one he drafted.
Brought in like four other field goal kickers this week and signed one of them.
No, but he's losing his edge. You know, he criticized him.
I did not hear the quote. What was the quote?
He missed 2 equivalent to 2 extra points 2 weeks in a row.
That's what Belichick said.
Yeah. You know, and
you can't have that.
I know, but and it
wasn't like the wind was a factor either.
I just want to finish something what Russ said. It could be the fixes in, guys, because when he punted from the 38-yard line, from the Giants' 38-yard line, 4th and 1 on a team that's 2-8, that's kind of screamed of. I kind of really don't want to win this game, because they were running through him at the time too. And they ended up gaining plus 18 on that punt. I mean, that wasn't even being conservative. That was being, I've got an agenda. Do you agree?
I just don't. I don't see any. I've never seen any part of him other than that Matt Castle throw the ball out of bounds thing way back when, where he's ever not tried to win a game. And I just don't think it's in his best interest. Every game he loses makes him further away, one game further away from Shula. And I think that's what he's fixated on.
Getting wings right now for him is like finding a unicorn, you know.
But I mean, you know, again, if he's trying to audition, Joe, for another coaching.
Oh, if a team is tanking, it's coming from management. You can't get the players to tank.
No.
Like as we talked about earlier, they're playing for the name on the back of their uniform.
Yeah.
But you can get management to tank, and management can make it tough on the players to do their job.
Oh, in football, you can easily throw a game from the sideline.
Oh, the NBA is famous for it. They do it every year.
Yeah, they got the subs in, and you know the first.
Oh my God!
Quarter.
Let's go to the Boston Celtics. Look, it's starting to remind me a little of '86. I'm not jinxing it, but the scenario, we got to beat the Bulls by 23 points, and they beat the Bulls by more than 23 points. It kind of feels like they're playing with the league a little bit, boys, and they didn't even have two of their starters.
Well, Chicago's a terrible team, Scott.
No, but still, Joe. I mean, come on.
And they're tanking. Levine looked totally disinterested because he knows he's getting traded.
But still, it's kind of calling your own shot. I mean, these guys are NBA players.
Well, yeah, although Chicago is they are dreadful. But look, your overall point is they're the best team in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
They just are. And they've only had, I don't know, what, 2 games, 3 games where out of however many at this point, where I thought, well, don't seem to be trying as hard, or they sort of melted down. But man, otherwise, they've been playing well.
But they're
Yeah,
fortunate.
they ran into LaMelo Ball that game, who had like the game of his life.
Yeah, the guy went bananas, right?
But they could be
Orlando has won 8
right?
in a row, and they own the Celtics over the last 2 years. Celtics haven't beat them in 3 years.
But the Celtics could easily be 18-0.
Yeah.
No, Orlando mopped up the floor with them.
Okay, Orlando. Okay, yeah, there was one game. All right. But other than that, right, that game, they could be 17-1.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The other losses were razor close, overtime to Charlotte there.
Yeah.
And the other one was very low. Last second chance.
I mean, yeah. And again, and I go to Timmy. Timmy, I told you, I said last week, Porzingis feels like Rob Williams ×2 with the whole injuries, and it's already rearing its ugly head with the calf injury. I mean, are we going to, how fragile is Porzingis? And my question is, how many games can you actually play him in the regular season? And are we going to be on pins and needles every playoff game to see if he's going to play tonight?
Yes, I do. I think they're really going kid gloves with him too. You know what I mean? I think, they're trying to get the league to keep the starters in and no rest and everything. I'm sure they're looking for any excuse to let him take a few days off. That's my opinion. I mean, he had an early injury record, but then he had a nice stretch here, right, where he's been pretty healthy. I mean, he's 7'3", 7'4". I mean, those guys, man. They just get injuries. They're like giraffes, they get injuries.
And he doesn't play.
I think this is a relatively minor injury, and they're just being super careful.
I agree.
And he has not looked. I actually not like. I thought I would be way more nervous watching him play than I am, and that's because he's much more athletic than I thought he was. Like, he runs normally, he jumps, he's just looks like a decent athlete. So I've been less, Timmy, I've been totally with you. I'm totally with you. I expected to be like anxious every time the guy jumped for a rebound, and I just haven't. I'm like, oh, he looks like he's going to be fine.
Well, Joe, are we going to do we want to pull a Gronk and kind of put him on ice maybe January?
No, I'm with Russ and Tim. He's a good player. It's not like Rob Williams, every time he jumped, you were afraid when he came down. He moves along just fine out there. He did miss 1 full year with the ACL, but everyone misses. If you get an ACL, you miss a year. Yeah. He doesn't look like he's that injury prone.
Rob Williams reminded me like of a Lamborghini. If you hit a pothole, something in that car was going to come loose. He was just like incredible athlete. You know what I mean? With this slim, slender frame. I think Porzingis looks a little more durable.
Okay. Do we owe Joe Mazulla an apology? He's coached 100 games. He's 71-29. That's the record for any
best of all time.
The first 100 games. I asked, do we owe him an apology?
Yes and no. I mean, how many coaches literally get handed a championship level team?
Yes.
In their prime.
That it
In their
never
prime.
in their prime. I mean, literally, that's just in
And
the
he's
history
been
of,
there. He's been with them a couple of years too.
it was the Paul Westhead thing was the only one when the guy died or got hit by a truck or something in
bicycle
LA.
accident. Yeah.
Yeah,
Jackson
bicycle
State.
accident. So it's like this doesn't happen. So it's like a statistical quirk that he's so good, but I think he's improved. I mean, the thing that we care about most is that he got better from last year, and I think he's gotten better.
I think these look, Brad corrects everything. He's the corrector, and he brought in Cassell and Lee for assistant coaches, and that has calmed Mazulla down. And he's got like 2 coach whisperers in his ear. And overall, I think he's done an incredible job this year. Far different than, which was unfair to him to the situation he was put in, but far different coach than last year, which we hoped.
What a relief it's got to be for him. I mean, you know, if you're running a company, right, and they bring in 3 guys who have run their own company successfully, and they're almost there, you know, to show you the pitfalls and things like that. And what a gift that would be to have, to lean on those guys.
Yeah. Jaylen Brown loves Porzingis. It's this weird. I always thought like Jaylen Brown had a weird personality, very antagonistic in some ways. I know he's politically involved, but he wasn't. I don't know. I don't feel like he ingratiated himself personality-wise with this Celtics fans. But this year, this relationship between him and Porzingis is just fun to watch. I'm just loving it. Right?
It's a big surprise, right? Like, as if you thought, like, one of the things that could have gone wrong is that KP comes in and Brown goes sideways because here's this other guy stealing shots from him, and it's gone in the opposite direction. I think he now looks at KP and says, this is a guy who can help me round out my game. His assist to turnover ratio this year is better than Tatum's.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
and he's doubled his assist, and he's doubled his hockey assist too.
Yep, exactly.
And if he's doubled you don't get an assist for it if a guy takes 2 dribbles and scores, but he's doubled that metric too.
Look, Timmy, I feel like in the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 games, all of a sudden he's not dribbling into traffic. He's taking different routes to when on the offensive end. Somehow somebody got to him because obviously he's improving his handle by not putting himself in bad positions in the court.
That's probably part of his maturing process. You know, you discover your weaknesses, and when you mature and you honestly look at yourself in the mirror, you say, "Hey, this is not a strength of mine." And this other thing is a strength of mine. So if I'm honest with myself, let's do what works best for the team. It might be part of his quest to win a championship. You know, I mean, they've been at the doorstep so many times. Maybe he's finally saying, "Hey, to help the team, I have to change my ways."
Yep, that's a great point. Would you agree that the Celtics don't miss Marcus, they don't miss Rob Williams, but they sure miss Brogdon?
I agree. Yeah.
Why are you saying they miss Brogdon?
They just missed that. I mean, that guy off
having an all-star
that you could depend on.
I don't know. I mean, maybe
things better.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I suppose. But I think Pritchard's played very well the last 6 or 7 games.
Yeah,
so I think we miss him less.
There was a huge comfort though watching that reserves come off the bench with Brogdon leading the charge. You had a legitimate all-star out there running the show. You know, and no other team had that. No other team in the league has a Brogdon to come off the bench.
Yeah.
You know, and going against the second stringers.
Yeah,
That's fair.
Yeah, again, Pritchard has. I know you think I hate him, but he has played much better. I agree with you. But again, he's still a defensive liability, and Brogdon is one of the top defensive guys coming off the bench in the league.
Well, you know, all second teamers usually are defensive liabilities. Pritchard is, Hauser is, Cornette is. They all are, but they're all playing better this year than they played last year, probably because they're getting more playing time. getting more reps, more experience. And I think that's one way where Mazulla has really improved from last year.
Can we take a moment for Scotty's new binky? One Nemesh Keita.
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 Yep.
He's fun though.
If my kid is long, he gives a hell of an effort. Again, he like all young players, and I know he played for the Mavericks for a couple seasons, but he doesn't know how to finish yet. But I tell you something, that kid, for effort wise and being around the basket, he's a guy that
Fun to watch.
Would you agree that he's an improvement over Blake Griffin?
Yes. Well,
he's
you
way
love
more athletic. He's much taller.
Offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
Right.
Timmy, could you see him, KQ, playing any role?
KQ, he's got a nickname already.
KQ, can you see King? You say it better than I. I'm just gonna yield to you, but I'll just say my guy. Can you see him playing a role in the playoffs against teams that may be a little smaller?
Go out, go out and eat 5 fouls, maybe. That's it.
I think he might be a bad matchup. I think he could contribute against the Heat, a smaller team.
Maybe. I think he's getting in the playoffs when those rotations get short, Scott. I think he's getting 5 minutes, and he'd be the luckiest man alive to get 5-6 minutes.
I think we're gonna see a bunch of KQ.
Who would you see off the bench first, Cornette or KQ?
It depends. I think that's a legitimate competition for the rest of the year, Scotty. I think that they'll be competing with each other.
Yeah. What kind of center is playing for the other team?
Right.
If it's Embiid, it's going to be Allen Keita,
It's KQ now, Uncle Joe. Can you get that right? You lose a tooth just then? You want to check?
I have replacements. I just pull them out and drop. What the
Look, okay, we had a house. I remember Russ having a Hauser crush, probably a year ago today, talking about Hauser and how well he was playing, and then he just kind of fell off the planet.
By the way, last year he only fell off the planet for like 6 weeks. If you look at his shooting percentages week to week,
yes, he came back.
He had a really bad 6 weeks. He had a very good end of the year.
Yeah, but then Mazulla didn't play him at all in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That was on Mazulla. I thought that was a mistake.
Well, Mazzulla's changed his tune. He's been bringing Hauser in early and often.
But Hauser's kind of proven. Good. Look, I think Hauser's not that bad defensively. I never thought he was. The kid has size. He can move around a little bit. His all-around
putback dunk the other night was unbelievable.
But then he's done 2 of those. He had a follow-up dunk, and then he had an alley-oop. What do we have in Hauser? Timmy, first of all, he's getting paid $2 million, so he's literally for free right now. I mean, in the NBA, $2 million, the ball boy gets $2 million.
You know what he is, Scotty? He's that guy that you pray to God that he's got his stroke when it matters. Because he's hot and cold. You just pray to God that he's got that stroke when it counts.
Okay, because
he's shooting.
We thought that we would have to address Russ at the deadline, possibly a shooter, without considering Hauser. If Hauser continues his play, obviously he won't shoot at this level the whole season.
Well, no, hang on a second. In his his rookie year, he shot 43.2% from 3. In last year, he played 80 games. He shot 41.8, so 42% from 3. This year, he's shooting 42.6 or 43% from 3. This is how he shoots from 3, and he's now taking 6.4 threes a game this year. That's a lot,
and that's top 10 kind of 3-point
That's top 10.
percentage.
That's exactly right, Joey. That's top 10 shooting percentage.
So
that's
he's
the kind of guy we have.
Exactly what we wanted from him.
100%.
Exactly
what we wanted from the guard position. Pritchard can give you that too sometimes.
What worries me is though Hauser goes into these funks and he can't freaking put the thing in the ocean.
Well, shooters always.
But he always ends up shooting. But he always ends up shooting 43%. He'll go into a slump, but that's what happens.
Scotty,
baseball hitters going.
Russell, what I'm saying is, you know, I just worry when he goes into the slump. is what
Right.
I
Yeah. You don't want him to go into a slump during the playoffs.
Yes,
Totally understand.
yes.
Yeah. Totally
He's
understand.
what we wanted from Aaron Neesmith.
That's what we
Neesmith is
expected.
looking
the top,
pretty good on.
top 3-point shooter in college, right? That's what we signed him up for.
Yeah.
But you knew a guy like Neesmith could shine in a system like the Pacers, where
Oh,
it was
Yeah,
nobody-
he's a 3-and-D guy. He's the Grant Williams.
yeah. Well, yeah, look, who did we get? We got Brogdon for him, and ultimately we got Porzingis.
Yeah.
No, wait, yeah, no, we got Holiday. So
Yeah.
it's worked really well, the whole tree.
Can we all just take a bow at Brad's feet at this moment? You know what I mean?
Oh, he's
So
put
far,
together a
yeah.
good team.
Worked out.
Then he got Porzingis and Holiday in the offseason.
And
After
he was willing to pull the trigger. That's what he gets balls for, you know.
Brogdon,
And you gotta like the fact that when it doesn't work, you don't just throw the same thing back out again. You try to make it better and see if it'll work next time.
White, Porzingis, and Holiday. That's who he's acquired in the last 2 years. And we can't.
2 of them go into the Hall of Fame.
Oh my! And again, this question is very important before we go to the Red
in
Sox.
their prime, basically in their prime, not like the back nine. You know,
prime. What? And this changes every week. Where are the needs in the deadline? We're only going to pick up one guy. It can't be like that Mazulla.
Right now, of course. Right now, I would say the biggest upgrade. So, you could get another ball handler, but to getting a ball handler who's as good of a shooter as Pritchard and who plays better defense, tough. I would say still a big. I still think you may need like a big who's better than Cornet or Queta.
A beefier. It doesn't have to be 7-something. Just someone with a little beef.
Yeah.
How about like a drop dead wing defender? You
You got that in Lamar Stevens. You may have that in Jordan Walsh.
Jordan Walsh. I was thinking maybe a Jordan Walsh with 5 years under his belt.
Mm-hmm.
All right, give me a big man that you're thinking about. A type, at the very least, a type. Don't have to be
guy like I think he's hurt right now, but a guy like Mason Plumlee, he's legitimately 7 foot tall. He's
good rebounder.
Good rebounder.
Like Brooks Lopez.
Exactly. Yeah. Andre Drummond, maybe.
Just don't want to foul.
Lopez seems to hurt us when we play against him.
Well, we need somebody.
Porzingis
he's beefier than Cornet and Porzingis. That's why.
Yeah. He when you're there live, he looks gigantic. Like you see him walking, you're like, oh my god, this guy's a big human being.
I want someone to tire out Embiid. I want someone who can fatigue Embiid. I don't even care how they play.
Yeah.
I want Embiid shooting 3-pointers in the fourth quarter, because when he starts doing that, I know we're going to win the game.
Yeah, we've seen him get worn down too many times.
Yeah,
and Giannis the same way. That's the best way to play those two guys.
That's why I like that kid from Bethune last year. Remember, Joe? Kid from Bethune. He would lean against these big guys. He beat the crap out of them.
Hey, are we missing Grant Williams at all?
No.
I actually, we're missing a Grant Williams type player. I wouldn't mind another bigger player and go and guard some of these bigger guys, but him specifically, no.
You can't have Drew Holiday guarding Embiid and Giannis, always. You need someone to give up the 6 fouls and beat them up a little.
Well, look, we've seen Holiday after that. Those 2 games kind of wear out a little bit. And hasn't played.
Wouldn't you? You're playing a guy giving up 100 pounds in a foot.
No, that's going to wear you out.
Do you remember that movie Airport where Kareem was the pilot
with the subtitles?
The little kid walks in the cockpit and he says, "My dad says you drag your ass up and down the court or something." And Kareem turns to me and says, "Well, you try going against
Bob Lanier,
Bob Lanier, this guy every night, Dave Cowens. See how you do."
It's a great scene.
Yeah, that was a great scene. All right, boys, we've got to do it. We're all season ticket holders of one Boston Red Sox.
All for one for all.
So we're seeing, we're seeing who's gone now? Sonny Gray, gone.
Yeah.
We hardly knew ye, Sonny.
Yeah, Sonny Gray. Who else have we seen sign?
The kid from the Phillies and
Nola's gone.
yeah.
So what we're talking about, so the whole Red Sox are going to assign 2 frontline starters is a pipe dream. It's not going to happen. There's too many teams in the major leagues who need frontline starters also. We have to be happy for one. Pick the one. We'll start with Uncle Joe. Pick the one that we sign.
I bet you we're going to re-sign our old friend Erod. I can see that coming a mile away.
Oh, my God.
But, I wouldn't mind if they signed him in Montgomery and make a trade for another starter.
No, they're
I'll
not.
live with it.
Joe, they're
want
not signing
3 starters.
They're not signing 2. No way. No, they're not a chance. They're going to sign. So one, you think?
Then if they don't sign 2, they'll sign Ohtani. They're making a splash somehow. They got to get back in the back page of the paper.
All right. So sign Erod. If not, sign Ohtani.
Oh no, sign Erod and Montgomery, the 2 middle fielders.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right, Russell.
Yeah, I'm not hopeful. I think, and oddly, they have, to Joe's point, I think they have a very sneaky good chance to sign Ohtani, and then as a pitcher, I don't know.
What do you think of Verlander?
No, way too old. Way
He had a great
didn't do well at all.
No, but we're not gonna. I want to get a guy who's going to be a first starter here for 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Right? Doesn't
If his wife will get season tickets, section 30, row 5, I'm absolutely for Justin Verlander.
Like my Bruins seat, similar to my Bruins seat.
Yeah. Oh my God.
The eye candy going up and down the aisle. What about our old friend Nathan Eovaldi?
He's not
a
free agent. No, I'm talking about free agent.
I'm looking at. I don't know. Am I looking at the wrong list?
No, he signed a 2-3 year deal.
Okay, I must be looking at the wrong free agent list.
Might have last year's list.
Ball sack.
Right, so you say Ohtani, Russell. You think they're going all in on Ohtani?
Yeah, I do agree with Joe that they're going to try to do something big. And look, I think it'd be fantastic. You get Ohtani and get Blake Snell, and I'm happy.
Listen,
you're going to need another starter. You're going to need another starter, but
how often would we be tuning in? Right, it would be
all the time.
In TV, right?
Like they did back in the day with Manny. Right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Manny and Pappy are up. Leave it there.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Though Ohtani has never played a game for the Boston Red Sox, would he be the biggest athlete in this town over Jason Tatum?
Probably. Yeah. I mean,
it'd be tough.
Probably.
It'd be only a DH.
Yeah, but that's for a year. Yeah.
That would be PR wise, guys. That would be bigger.
Oh, it's a great thing PR wise.
55 million a year.
I think that probably 50. I think it's probably he probably wants more years. He'd probably give up a little less per year, 4 years. I'm going to bet he wants 10 years.
And how old is he?
He's what, 30?
29, I think. He's right.
Get 10 years, $500 million. Call it a day.
Why not? Right? I mean,
right?
To be fair, I'd really like to see the pitching more than him. But I think that's the big splash.
I want a superstar. I want a freaking superstar on this team.
Joe, he's going to pitch in 25.
Just one more year. Yeah, it's just 1 year.
A lot of guys seem to think he's never going to pitch again.
Oh,
these guys get back from Tommy John throwing 3 miles an hour faster.
I can tell you.
I hope so.
His agent is selling him on that he's pitching again.
They're a college kid.
Oh yeah, his agent is going to tell you he's going to be a Cy Young winner.
Who got Tommy John surgery? They barely even needed it, and they got it, and they came back stronger.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, kids now in high school get it when they don't need it at all. I mean, it's unethical for a doctor to do it.
Tightens up that ligament or whatever.
The Red Sox have no identity now. Right now,
none, zero.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody.
Well,
No,
terrible defense. They have that identity.
We need a mega star.
but you need to bring the young kids in. I used to even say, even when that's why I couldn't ever believe the Joe Thornton deal, because the young kids back in the day, like my boys, they didn't even know who the Bruins really were, but they knew Joe Thornton. You need a guy. Nobody even the young kids don't have any star in the Red Sox that they can relate to that they know. But Ohtani changes everything. He's a global superstar.
Remember what Yaz did to this town? You
Yeah.
know, what did Bobby Orr do to this town? You know,
What did Pedro do?
Larry Bird, Tom
Yeah.
Brady. We need a Pedro. We need stars.
Yeah, what do we care for that? I give him $60 million a year.
That's what I say. I could
what was that?
give him part ownership of the team. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, it changes everything. Can you imagine the buzz in opening day, boys?
Oh, it would be crazy.
With Ohtani?
You know what we'd be selling those tickets for on the aftermarket?
He's Babe Ruth. He's freaking Babe Ruth. Oh my God. Look, I don't think they're going to sign the pitcher. I think that's the New York.
It looks like the Mets got that one down.
Yeah, the Yankees Mets are going to just fight over who's that. So it really is. And Blake Snell, that doesn't move the dial at anyone. I like the move, but it doesn't move the dial. PR.
I hate pitchers like Snell that give up 5 walks a game. I hate that.
Erod certainly doesn't move the dial.
No. But you need 3 more starting pitches.
How's Erod done the last couple of years, by the way?
Well, Erod was having all those personal
better
problems.
than anyone on the Red Sox.
Remember, he was having those personal problems. He left the team during the season, and then he came back.
Good.
I mean, he's I thought he pitched very well, and the Red Sox should have re-signed him, and we said that. And the last game he pitched for the Red Sox, he was fantastic against the Astros.
You remember that game? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand, and it was really for short money that the Tigers ended up getting him for. But no, we don't need Erod. He doesn't move the dial. You're going to pay Erod more money. That's not going to encourage him to play better.
But you're going to need 3 more starting pitches. You don't have any starting pitching right now.
They're going to trade.
Bayo and Pavetta, maybe. Pavetta looked like he's regaining his starter form. And that is it. What are you going to tell me about Tanner Houck? No, I don't buy it. Even Bayo was a 5.11 ERA.
They have to sign.
What happens if they go cheap? And
they're not serious about
Erod.
They're not serious about
there are no cheap.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying this at the beginning of the offseason. If they don't sign 2 legitimately, top 3 starting pitchers, a first or second, third, 2 of them, they're not serious about contending for a title.
And trade for someone else.
Yeah,
that's the minimum.
York and
that's the minimum.
The right fielder, and maybe even if he's a top-notch prospect, even Duran throw in.
Yeah, they might have to give up a boatload of prospects to get a good guy. They have.
I don't care.
Do something.
Yeah, a major leaguer is worth 10 minor leaguers.
I'm going to tell you.
You don't need minor leagues.
Let me tell you what's going to go on. If I see press conferences in the offseason and Sam Kennedy sits in any of them anymore, then I know this is all bullshit and we're not doing
all sales. It's not baseball.
Okay, because he's always there because he thinks that he can say some golden words that will sell us all. I just want to see Craig Breslow, nobody else. I want to see him in the podium, and I want to see him do things. I don't need Sam Kennedy trying to sell me 20-game packages, packs, max. I don't give a crap. So that, and again, I just want to mention this before we leave. I don't want to hear Chris Sale's name ever again. Only that they cut him or traded him. I would
opening day starter.
Cut him because you're not getting anything in a trade. Cut Chris Sale, please. Because you can't move on as a franchise when you have that Florida piece of trash still on the team.
Only have DFA next to his name.
The worst signing in Red Sox history?
Sure. Pablo Sandoval is banging on the door, but that fat piece of shit. But yeah, yes, Chris Sale, because at least Pablo Sandoval, He never even teased us. He never talked. I don't even know if he speaks.
He was
English.
trash from
He
start to
just
finish.
took his money and sent his fat ass out of town. And Carl Crawford, same thing. But Chris Sale was in our face, patronizing us constantly,
telling us how good he was going to be and how much he cared. Yeah,
I bought it. I was a huge Chris Sale fan.
He's stiff.
Worse than
Gordon Hayward.
Fraud.
Worse than Grandpa. Seriously, and that's saying a lot. Not as bad as Daniel Nava, but very close to it. All right,
Daniel Nava never made more than minimum.
I don't know.
Daniel Nava has to come up once in every show.
Oh wait, I just got to tell you my Brennan Bernardino story. I didn't tell you guys. So I met Brennan Bernardino outside Fenway. Great guy, really, and really one of the bright spots for the Red Sox in 2023. I know Joe really liked him too. I thought he pitched in a lot of high leverage situations in the game, and I thought he did well. So he said he comes to the major leagues first time. He gained like 15 pounds the first month, and he goes, "Hey pal," he goes, "Nothing like big league spreads." I was like, Brennan, just because they have all the food doesn't mean you have to eat it all. So,
well, in the minor leagues, you're lucky to get a hot dog.
Yeah, right? Isn't that a total situation? These poor minor leaguers. That's why when the major leagues come down, they always feed them and stuff because these guys aren't even eating, which is so ridiculous, right?
But they got to go back to the host family's house, and they already ate dinner 3 hours ago. So, I mean, you might get leftovers.
The big league spread. He was excited talking about it. But good guy. Hopefully we're going to have Brennan on the show. You guys are going to really like him. He's really a nice personality. And it's good to have a likable Red Sox guy. Because, I've met a lot of Red Sox guys.
Let's give that some time. Let's give that some time.
Yeah, a lot of Red Sox guys.
You're hot.
Yeah, he's only got a half season under his belt.
Scotty, he'll be on Scotty's dartboard. His picture will be on the dartboard within 3 months.
All right, speaking of my dartboard, what happened to the Bruins? Oh my God. Will they give up like 12? They give up, 12, 15 goals a game now? I don't understand what's happened.
To the worst team in the league, Columbus, they gave up 5.
Explain to me what went wrong so quickly.
They had a bad patch.
Yeah. Swayman.
Well, I will say this. Their record does not indicate their play. Their goaltending is their record. Their goaltending has been outstanding. I mean, most of those games have been 50-50, and the goaltending has won the game. And the coach came out and said it. He said it many times, like, the goalies won us the game, So the goalies had a few off nights, and they didn't stand on their head, and that's what happens.
It's nothing now between the first and second. Everyone scores like 10 goals on San Jose, so I don't know what the heck's going on here.
Well, okay, they're not the team that, had this incredible start. They're not the team the last 3 games. Obviously, they're somewhere in between, but where?
They're top 25% of the league. Top 25% of the league.
They're
right.
In the top 5 seeds come playoff time. Just not number 1. That's the Florida's world this now.
Is there a golden player that puts them in a higher echelon in the league?
No. I'll tell you what I do like about this team. They're big and rugged, and that I think will help be in their favor as the season goes on. A lot of these smaller players will wear down. They get a lot of big rugged guys on this team who I think
third line
stay the course. And we have the best goaltending in the league, which is gigantic. And we're not dependent on one goalie. We have 2 guys. Someone gets a little banged up. We're in good shape. The D's solid. Could we use a couple more scorers at the top? Sure. Who couldn't?
Would you like to see them get Kane? If they could have.
I don't know what he's got left in the tank, Scotty.
Yeah, but they didn't have enough money for him anyways.
Oh, because he signed with the Red Wings. So that wasn't even a possibility.
Yeah. They didn't have a chance.
Yeah, they don't have
Right.
much dojo, right? They're strapped, right?
They're
No.
right. They're right at the cap practically.
Yeah, they're still paying the price for going all in last year.
Is this a team that we can even consider for?
Oh yeah, I think
Absolutely. Well, look at how far Florida went last year. We get two hot goalies and they go through the playoffs and catch a streak. We can win the Stanley Cup easily with this team.
Yeah,
Easily.
I hated any team I was ever on that went undefeated into the playoffs, or that's almost like a curse. That wearing that record wins last year, that was like a recipe for disaster going into the playoffs. Like they'll show you how many Presidents Trophy winners win it. Right?
And how many 16 seeds win it? You see the LA Kings, the St. Louis.
St. Louis Blues won it. I don't remember.
The worst, Florida last year almost won it. It happens. The last seed sometimes does the best.
How about Vegas? Could they repeat?
They've been playing very well
for
this
sure.
year.
They're really good. Yeah. They're really good.
Wow.
I just saw this thing. Von Miller got arrested, or he turned himself in.
Yeah, he domestic abuse in Dallas with his longtime girlfriend.
Okay, before we go, we have to talk about the Corey Perry thing. That was social media at its worst for a 24-hour period. Because they even had me believing that story. And apparently it's not even close to being the truth.
Yeah, it was just completely denied.
Is she married too?
It's just denied. It's the story.
Yeah, are they?
Bedard's married,
husband, right?
His parents are together.
Bedard's like a happy couple. They're married, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're like they. I saw all these articles about how they raised him and blah blah blah.
Yeah, but it's a made-up story.
Yeah, the story's not true,
fabricated.
The story's not true.
I couldn't even fathom it to be true.
But they acted like I mean, there was so many sources saying that it was true. How could you refute it at that point?
What source said it was true?
Everybody.
One rumor spawned 1,000 other people.
Did you see one reputable
retweeting it?
Writer?
No, I think I did. I mean, I can't tell you that whether I did, but it was so hot, that rumor, and it was so and when it's so random to bring those names up that you thought, okay, I don't know anything about the Blackhawks. I guess this is true. And then they fire him. But then they release him and they terminate him with cause. And you're thinking, okay, he clearly did something egregious. So it backs up that story. It just shows you, I mean, these guys who live in the spotlight now and their families.
Did it ever come out why they got rid of him?
It had nothing to do with the team.
Right, it's an internal team issue.
I think it's an Udoka thing. I think
it had something to do with team personnel.
Yeah, I think it was something,
but not teammate or teammates' families. He stressed over and over, but it did have something to do with another employee of the Blackhawks.
That's the incident at its worst, right there.
Well, I can just tell you this: the mom's trips and the dad's trips that we've been hearing about the Bruins and NHL, those have been permanently canceled.
Well, let me tell you, the moms that sit in my section, I sit in the family section. Most of those would not be on the list of potential candidates.
Sammy, you're going to get yourself into big trouble here.
I know that's
big trouble.
The wives and the girlfriends.
You're in big trouble, Timmy. Keep digging, Timmy.
Keep digging. Are you watching, Mom?
You better have a fake glasses and a mustache, fake mustache. Next time you're going to go in the garden, there's going to be face.
Color that beard and take those get contacts.
Yeah. Mr. Hoey, can you please come here? All right, they're big. Look, everybody watches
the Bruins scored, by the way.
I'll have all the Bruins bombs coming down, hitting me in the back of the head. What did you say?
All right, well, that's our show for tonight. I want to thank the fellows. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune again next Thursday night at 7:00 for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.